What is good, everybody? What is good? How's everybody doing? Make sure to leave a note in the chat if you're joining in. Let me know where you're from. I would love to hear where you are from. I got my notes here, or my chat, I should say, not my notes, but I'm looking at my chat here to make sure I don't miss you. I would love to give you a shout out, and we'll go from there. So I'm Gary B. Jr., and today is Free Show Friday, everybody. So always a fun day, always a fun time. What I want to do is we're going to start out as we always do, or we started newly doing, I should say, is doing a review of what we covered this past week, and then jump into some Q&A, and then also we're going to discuss how we navigate um, our services, right? How do we navigate our services each week, whether it's for a Sunday service or maybe it's for a midweek service or whatever it may be. And so we're going to jump into that together. So before we get started, let's go ahead and do a review of what we got going on here. And let's see here. Let me pull up the share screen so you can see that there. And let's pull that up. Just a second, just a second. Let's see here. Checking out my live stream setup that I got. So that should be there. All right. So first things first, let's pull up the internet and I'll just go to my YouTube channel and we'll go from there. So the first thing we went through or that we covered or had this week, we had a fun video. This video was all about, let me change my screen here. Hold on. This video was all about an entire church setup. This is the first one like it. I did a recreating the setup with a church that I visited, but I didn't know if they were using FreeShow or not. But this is actually from you all, those who watch the channel, those who have subscribed to my mailing list, those who have filled out a FreeShow planning form. I'm going to be going through those FreeShow planning forms, and I'm going to be recreating what you submitted. So if you submitted a FreeShow planning form, you may be one of the next churches or ministries featured, and I would love to give you a shout out. But at the very least, I'll use the layout that you submitted of the different stage displays and audience displays and preferences and the schedule for your services and things like that, because I really think it's going to be helpful and useful for individuals when they're trying to figure out how to set this up for their church, because we might be surprised how many things we may have in common with the next ministry. And so this will give us a good idea of that. And so the entire church setup, we're going to talk a little bit about that today in terms of some things related to navigating the service. We also had a post here. Let's see here. Let me see what the post is looking like. We had 15 people sign up on the post or make a vote. And I asked about how do you navigate your free show service. Almost 50% said they use their mouse and a mouse or a mouse pad and they click every show and slide, right? So they're just navigating by clicking on the actual slides, which is pretty convenient and comfortable way to do it. And then others say, oh, well, let me say this. More telling is nobody says they use the arrow keys to just go through it nonstop, just straight through. Okay. And that speaks to a number of things. One of them has to do with the comfort level with free show, right? Another one has to do with the way that you've got it set up. So you've got it set up to where you just click through and it may reflect the previous program that you come from, right? The way that you have used that particular program in the past. But Free Show does allow you to navigate your entire show by just clicking the arrows if you set it up properly. And that's something that it takes some time to get used to. A third of us said I use a combination of my mouse and preset actions, which is pretty cool because those preset actions make changes that you don't have to use your mouse to try to click and do 3 or 4 things all at the same time, knowing that they're going to be staggered if you try to do that. You can set up an action, you click on one slide, and all of a sudden 4 things happen, right? Really cool way to do it. And then someone said they use a combination of the arrow keys uh, and preset actions, which is pretty cool as well. So that's the latest on the post or the poll that was sent out this past week. Going back to the videos, we also had a video about polishing your presentation for free show. And this one was really cool to me because it was like 5 tips that you could use and implement today to really add a little, I say flair, I wouldn't call it flair, but just add a little bit to your show to to take it one step further without doing much, right? Someone said, "Hey, these are really easy to understand. Thank you for making this video." So hopefully you'll find it the same way, that it's really easy to understand how to implement some of those things. But leave me a comment in the chat if you have questions about what you saw. If you got to see any of those videos, let me know what your thoughts were about it. The goal is to always improve on making those better. I can tell you that one of the takeaways that I had was to have an outro video. And my man Christopher, the developer, the founder, the creator of FreeShow, commented and said he really liked the outro video, and I was like, I'm grateful, and that means a lot. One of the things that stands out to me about it is I've seen it on other ministries online and things like that, and I said, oh, this is something I think the ministries I work with, you all would really like to know about at least. And it doesn't have to be an actual video of a talking head, but it can be a slideshow, like how I used for my opening video for Free Show Friday. I just made a slideshow video. You don't see me talking or anything like that in that video, but it just cycles through. And we do that probably for our countdown videos all the time. You probably have some slides of announcements, things like that. Those can also go at the end as an outro video, so that when it's over, it doesn't just cut off right there at the end of service from a camera. It can cut off from this outro video that's 2 minutes long or 5 minutes long or 1 minute long even. It doesn't have to be super long. All right. So those were the couple of videos that came out. Hopefully you got to check out the gradients in Free Show. That was an older video that came out last week that I really like, using those gradients. As you can see, I'm using them right now down there on the topic. So as we get started, let's see here. We got a few folks joining us. Let me know where you're from. Let me make a note here. So let me know where you're from in the chat. Like I said, even if you don't have a question, I don't want you to feel embarrassed or anything like that, but feel free to make a comment about your name and where you're from, and if you're using Free Show or not. That's kind of a big deal. Let me know if you're currently using Free Show. All right. And so let's get into Free Show. All right. We got a lot of different things. I got a lot of actions here. I'm going to do some recap. And throughout the time, let me know if you have any questions as well. We'll jump into Q&A as needed. We got Al in from Illinois. What's going on? Galena, is that how you say that? I say that right? Galena, Illinois. Welcome, 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 my friend. But when it comes to Free Show, one of the things that I think is going to really help us upgrade our show. Let me change this out real quick. Hold on. My live stream stuff is so funny right now. Let me see something. Let me cancel this. Hold on. Okay, there we go. All right. And so I had it on, I didn't have it on studio mode in OBS, so I needed to change it back to studio mode so I could see what's going on. We got LJ from Charlotte, North Carolina. Yes, we use Free Show. That's excellent, LJ. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So templates and styles. Templates and styles. When it comes to using templates and styles in Free Show, they're powerful because they set the tone for what people should expect from you, which is a big deal when it comes to, I think of it as in branding. My wife and I, my wife more specifically, she is a brand expert in terms, she designs logos and things like that. Like my shirt right now, she designed this shirt for me. So that was something I'm really excited about. But she's really big on helping people understand how to build their brand. And one of the things that she does is she wants to make sure they understand how important it is to be consistent, right? And so when you set up a good template that you like, and in doing so, you apply that template to a style, every week, you don't have to use something new. You use that same template, that same style, and it's consistent for those that are joining in and fellowshipping with you. And it puts people at ease to where that's one less thing, especially for a visitor, or I should say a visitor, even people that come regularly, there's one less thing to have to be concerned about when their focus is really on God. Their focus is really to engage in the presence of the Lord and really experience that. You don't want your show to be a distraction for that. So let's see here. We got Adrian from Virginia, using Free Show for professional AV conferences. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it. What kind of events do you do? So you said for conferences. What kind of conferences? Is it like tongue tied, corporate conferences? Is it like trade show type conferences? I'm curious because I love to hear. I'm actually working on some projects or some videos that will kind of elaborate on that. So I would love to hear some of the things that you like about using Free Show from an AV conference perspective that you think is important? Like what sets it apart? What you used to use? I'm curious. And then let's see here. We got Brian Richards on from Michigan, Grand Blanc, Michigan, and then Sibusiso. I can't say the name real good, my friend. I'm sorry. But from South Africa, started using FreeShow last Sunday. Man, I need to get a sound effect for that. Oh, snap. Let me see. I don't have no hand claps on here yet. I do have that sound effect somewhere, but I gotta find it. But in here we got this. Let me see. I got the boom clap. I got the bathwater. I got the bag unzipped sound crate. I'm gonna make one that's gonna be a hand clap that we play from Free Show that will generate some applause when somebody new signs up and starts using Free Show, because that's a super exciting thing to have go on. But when we talk about these templates, if you check out the video I did on the entire service build out, right? The entire service setup, one of the first things I said or did was I helped set up a template, all right? And for them, they wanted to have based on their free show planning form. If you haven't done that, go to my website. Let's see here. If you go to my website, let's see. You can go to it from here. And you go to products. This is a completely free form. It's a completely free form to fill out. You can go to I believe it's in the beginning with Free Show. There we go. So the Free Show planning form, completely free product, along with the Bibles that many of you have. And then this is this is the getting started guide for media leaders and things like that. It includes the Free Show planning form, the scriptures, the Bibles, pretty much everything you need to get started. And then quick tips, you can download that one as well. But in this Free Show planning form, it asks you a series of different questions to help you get reset or set properly with Free Show. And a lot of those questions have to do with does your ministry have a logo, or what are your colors, and what do you want your text and your fonts to look like? Do you want them to be big? Do you want them to be bold? What color do you want them to be? And this ministry said they want it to be white text in a box, and they want it to be big and bold. And so we designed this one. This is City Hill from South Africa. My man Ryan is actually part of that media team, and he filled out the form, which is excellent. And he's going to be working on something that's going to be pretty special and pretty cool that hopefully he can get to me by next week, but we'll see. But we designed this template for them. Okay. And this template allows them to have all their text in a box for their songs. And then if you go to scriptures, we made another one that's for scriptures. And now the difference in the templates is small because all I did was duplicate it and just make changes. So the text for the songs is in the center, which is pretty standard, right? Centered up, top and bottom, centered left and right. And then the scripture text, though, since in at least in American culture, we read left to right. I know there's some cultures that may read right to left, but in our culture, we read left to right. And so I made the same box, but I actually moved the text to the top. So I aligned it to the top. And let me just show you guys. I'll go to edit. And so the alignment here is, this says that it's sent. Oh, let me click on it. All right, there we go. So it's aligned to the left and it's aligned to the top, right? And this is really cool. This is a feature of Free Show that I think a lot of us can easily overlook, is how robust the text editor is, okay, in terms of the layout, I should say, the layout manager, because you can literally align your text and do all that. You can have it centered. If I click this, it'll go down to the middle and still be to the left. If I click this, it'll be down at the bottom and still be to the left, and the text will stack up, okay? But I wanted it to be at the top, and then the actual reference, if I go here to my items, you'll see that other little box is called reference, and that's just good for my reference. It doesn't show up that way when you're showing it. It doesn't show any of this language that you see here. These are literally just for you to make a note for yourself to see. Whenever you're editing in a template in that way, it's just showing you what it would look like, okay? If you want it to actually be there, you would probably need to edit in the actual slide, or you can do it in an overlay. And they all have the same layout in terms of the way that the editor looks, but an overlay shows you exactly what you're doing, and it shows it the way you did it. A slide, when you edit, it shows exactly what you did. But in a template, it does not maintain the text integrity, like in terms of what you're typing. It only maintains the settings that you set for what you typed. So this text is bold, right? I got a big bold B, I got it to left align, I got it top align, and I got it auto size at 110 font. It saves all that, but whatever I put in there is what's going to be showing up. So the scripture that shows up there is going to be there. Side note, probably a little bit of a rant, but that's something to understand about templates and why they're so important. And understanding you have the freedom to label these whatever you want to. Nobody's ever going to see that. It's going to be really blank until you put some text into it. Okay. And so, as I was saying earlier, if I go to the items and I go to references, you'll see that this box is a lot smaller, 45 size font, nothing bold, and the alignment is in the center on both the vertical and the horizontal alignment. Okay. And so that's how that one is set up. If you wanted to, you can make changes to the text, letter spacing, word spacing, all that kind of stuff. Let's see, a text transform. You can make all the text in your template. You can make all of your text be uppercase, right? So you can say, no matter how it's typed out or copied in terms of the songs that you have, even the scriptures that you use, you can literally make everything be uppercase. So I can click uppercase down here and you'll see this little TT pop up. And that's like a text, I'm gonna call it a text transform for lack of better words, but it's a text moniker to say, hey, there's something that's gonna be changed in this text based on what you selected. And what that means is even though this is in upper and lowercase, whenever I go to a scripture, let me pull one up, it will automatically be different. So let's go to here and I'm going to find a template. This was City Hill. Let's see. City Hill scriptures. All right. And so if I were to pull that up, let's see what it looks like. And so you'll see here, we've got the text big and bold. And then down at the bottom though, Genesis 1 verse 2, King James is all in uppercase, which for some of you all, that might be a big preference. And I like that layout. That's not bad. It's a really cool layout to where it's easier for people to see, but it's not super big and taking over the space. It's just there and it's in all caps and people know that that's going to be the reference for the scripture. So it's not a big deal for it to be uppercase. All right. And so that's something to consider when it comes about your templates and your style. So this is all just about setting up the template. Okay. So setting up your template is the first thing I would say you do. I've got a load of different templates. And the only reason I got a load of different templates is because I train this and I lay out, I make different ones. I'll put them available for people to download and all that kind of stuff. You're okay with just having the defaults plus one more for you, for your ministry that you customize for yourself and, or just using the defaults that are there. Okay. This ministry, like I said, they wanted theirs to be customized with a box around it. There weren't many that had that in a way. Like I said, they might want the box to be round, right? So if I went to this and I go to edit, and I click on this particular text box, you can go to the item itself and you can change the corner radius. So I can say, I'm gonna make the corner radius be rounded, right? And notice what happens. It makes it rounded, which doesn't look bad either. Really cool layout. If I go back to the show and let's go to another scripture and notice here it's already showing that rounded layout. It's all real time changing. Double click that. And then now my preview looks like that. A little bit different effect, very subtle, but still really cool. All right. So whatever you settle in on as your template that you like, you play around with that, you play around with it, get it to the way you want it to look. And then once you're done, you go into your settings. All right. And what you saw me do in that video, and what, like I said, go back and check out the fullness of it. You'll see a lot of different things happening. But you go into your styles and you say, I'm going to make a new style. And what I did is I made two City Hill styles. I made a live stream and a primary, which is what they were primarily using or wanted to use, I should say. I don't think they had the live stream set up yet at that time, but they wanted to plan to use the live stream, right? And so for their primary, I made it to where in-house, that's what primary is for me. So you can make it say City Hill in-house, for example, or the name of your church in-house. I made it to where there's an override, okay? Override slide with a template. Now remember, we just made some templates. So we use those templates here. So this is the City Hill songs template that we made with the box, and then the City Hill scripture template that we made with the box. And those are going to lock in. So anytime in your ministry that you're showing a scripture, they're going to always have that same layout, that same template. And this is the style that we're setting. So now I've got the style set up. You're not done just because you put it and tie it to a style. Now you have to say, okay, I want to use that style for, in this case, I would say my primary output. So I would go here and I would say, I want my primary output to be the City Hill primary. Okay. And that's just my names that I've made up. You can make yours be, you can call it in-house, right? And City Hill in-house here. And then once you do that, that locks it in. So anytime anything goes on that projector or that LED screen or LCD screen, whatever it is you've got, it's going to always have this output tied to that style, and that style is tied to those templates because you've made it to where it overrides any songs or presentations with the slide, which is that first override option, this one here. Okay. And then you've also overridden any scriptures that show up. They're going to always look like this. And this is a really cool thing. And I'm telling you guys this at a beginner level. This is something that I will say is imperative for you to understand. The templates lead to the style, and then the style leads to the output. And you got to do them you got to do it backwards and say, okay, I got to start with my template to get the style the way I want it. And then when I get the style the way I want, then I tie that to the output. All right. And a lot of times I know for me, when I first started using FreeShow, my first thought was, oh, let me set my outputs up and get that all together. And I did it, but I didn't change the style. I just kept it at default. And I kept trying to make, go down to my templates, and I was changing my templates each time and all this. And it's like, for you guys, if you're going to be in the same ministry setting all the time and you want it to be consistent, being consistent with your brand, you don't need to have a bunch of different ones. You can just set it up just like that, and it'll always be that way. You don't even have to think about it anymore. All right. So that's a big step that I would say to encourage any ministry to do when it comes to FreeShow. Set up your templates, then your style, and then tie that to an output. All right. Now, before I go forward, what questions do you guys have about that? Let's shift to some questions. I want to hear what you all are thinking. What stands out to you about that? If anything, how many people are using templates with an overridden style tied to an output? All right. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna give you guys some time to type in the chat who's using their templates and they're tying it to a specific style that they're using for the override to say, hey, I'm gonna make that be consistent all the time. And if you're not, type in the chat, say, hey, we're not doing that yet. And maybe you have a really good reason. Let me know the reason for it, because I'm curious as well about that. But this is all about consistency for you as a media team. And one of the things I would say, even in the gentleman, the friend has said that they do this for conferences, right? This is something that they might have multiple different templates that they use that they pitch to their clients and say, hey, what do you want your slides to look like? Right. And it may not be a ministry conference, right? So they may not need anything to do with scriptures, but what do you want your slides to look like? And they create the template, and then they tie that to the style, and that's what they use for that particular event, right? And then Tony is asking, is FreeShow based on OBS? Not at all. FreeShow and OBS are not in cahoots with each other in terms of they're not owned by the same or developed by the same people, but they both are the same in the sense that they are open source programs. So in that case, yes, they are similar in that way, right? So where they're open sourced for life, right? I believe if you go back and look at my interview with the founder of FreeShow, along with one of the board members, Michael Bird, he talked about how OBS has like sponsors. I think Sony is one of the sponsors for OBS. And so that helps fund the development of OBS. Okay, even though it's open source, Sony is putting money into that venture or that project to help make sure it's maintained, because a lot of people that use OBS may use Sony cameras and things like that. Well, FreeShow is open source, just like OBS is. They don't have any major sponsors or anything like that. So what you may contribute to the church apps platform is a nonprofit. So whatever you contribute as a ministry, what we do here in terms of help spreading the news about it, that's literally all FreeShow it goes off of in terms of getting, I say getting funded. They've got some initial funders, I guess, that helped get them started, that they use that seed money to help establish and maintain the ministry. But there's no big sponsors or anything like that. But FreeShow works really well with OBS, which is what I'm using right now for this live stream. Okay, I'm using FreeShow with OBS right now. And the funny thing is I got that countdown timer up there. Let me stop that countdown timer. Let's do clear. And I ran into this issue the other day, and I'm not sure what's causing that. But you guys see that countdown timer up there? It's not getting on my nerves, but it's just funny that it's there, because it shouldn't be there. So that's there. But so that hopefully that helps bring some understanding of what's up with FreeShow and OBS. That's a great question. LJ says just using the default templates for now. That's great. Like I said, using the default templates is good. I would say with those default templates, try to tie them to a style so that you can actually maintain some consistency and customization, right? So you can customize those as well, duplicate them and then customize it. And you can go from there. And then Tony says, is there certain hardware needed? Um, for FreeShow, the only thing you need is a computer. Doesn't have to be a laptop. It could be a desktop. It could be Linux. It could be Mac. It could be Windows. So the only thing you need is that in order to actually start using the program on your computer. Now, if you want it to be shared on the monitors in the ministry setting or in a conference setting or something along those lines, then you need to be able to connect that computer to some type of output source like an HDMI source, or SDI is another type of cable that people use to send that signal to a TV monitor or projector or something like that. Or you can do it wirelessly through NDI. And that's how OBS and FreeShow talk together on my computers. I'm using NDI, which is a network based interface. Okay. So it allows my computer, on the same computer, I'm running OBS and I'm running FreeShow, and I'm sending a signal to OBS from FreeShow wirelessly. Okay, so it's just traveling over the network, and it's not going to another computer, so it's there, but it's picking it up from the network using a program called, or interface called NDI. Okay, and so that with OBS, so I had to download NDI with OBS to work, but FreeShow automatically has NDI built in, so it can send a signal out through NDI, and it can also receive a signal that's an NDI signal as well. And so if we go to our media here, you'll see that I can go to my screens and I can go to NDI here, and you'll see I've got FreeShow NDI, FreeShow NDI. This is the primary one, and this is my live stream. And then I've got this one, this is the OBS main. And then I got this one, this is the OBS preview. All right. So if I click on this one, you'll see that it literally just shows what I've got here. Okay. This is me, and it's lagging up pretty good because, well, actually, I don't know why it's lagging. I think I've got an internet issue that I'm dealing with, or network issue, but I'm not that concerned about it right now. Hopefully you guys, is everything coming in okay? I'm seeing on internet, on the YouTube, that my connection is good. So that's not a big deal. So I'm glad it's good for you guys. But I have been having some internet issues, but it's not bad. Not bad at all. All right. So hopefully that helps answer that question about what type of equipment is needed, right? Let's see here. Can it work with Zoom? Um, so FreeShow definitely can work with Zoom, and OBS can work with Zoom. And I actually use both of them together when I have my Zoom meetings. And so um, for me, I use Zoom for like online Bible studies. And so for that, I'll use the same setup that I have here, but in OBS, I'll actually turn on a virtual camera. Let's see here. Let's see if this will come up. Let me see if I can slide my screen over so you can see OBS. All right, so in OBS, so this is my OBS screen that you guys are looking at right now. But in OBS, they got this thing called a virtual camera. And so you can actually turn on a virtual camera, and what that can do is it'll serve as a webcam in Zoom. Okay. And so now whatever I show on my in OBS, where all my NDI feeds from FreeShow and all that stuff. So for me, I lead a young men's Bible study, and what I do is I'll put the scriptures up using FreeShow as my scriptures, showing them, and they read it out loud. But I'm using FreeShow to intermingle and work with that with Zoom, and I'm using Zoom connected to my virtual camera here. And so Zoom is just thinking I got a webcam connected to it, and I'm using OBS to be my webcam. And so the young men, when they see me, I may have it set up like this, and then oftentimes I'll have it set up to where it's just me doing the talking head piece here, and then I'll have the scriptures at the bottom, or I'll cut to the split screen like I've been doing with you guys like this. All right. So yes, you can make it work with Zoom. There's a video about that I made a few months back. Check that out, and hopefully it'll answer a lot of your questions. If you do use Zoom for your ministry, FreeShow is a great addition to that. It's a great addition to that. All right. Um, let's see here. What other questions do we have? No other questions. All right. One thing I didn't do in that tutorial or that video that I made, um, with City Hill Church was I didn't talk about, let's go here, we'll clear that out. I didn't talk about how the project templates work, right? So we're going to talk about project templates. And I think my NDI flaked out because I'm trying to run all this at the same time and actually share OBS while I was streaming OBS um, through that. So let me close this out and restart my free show because it completely locked up on me. And that's not something you guys would typically run into. Let me see if I can get it to close. I'm going to do a force quit on free show and boom. And so me doing the having the NDI open and then pulling in OBS into it was, I think it just completely flaked out the system in terms of confusing free show in a way that's not good. We don't want to confuse free show, but it was just me doing the most. All right. All right. So there, it should be good now. And so now we got our project templates up. So talking about project templates, we got a friend from Thailand. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me see if I can say your name right. I'm probably gonna mess this up. My Lee, my Lulu. I don't know how to say that. Tony's got a question. Let's go back to questions here real quick. Just make sure. So he says, so this works with in person and online. Absolutely. Now it is not. Free Show is not a web based platform. Like you don't need the internet for Free Show to work. You download it to your computer. Okay. And so I've got it downloaded on my computer, just like I've got a bunch of other programs, like how you download Zoom to your computer, right? I've got that. Let's see here. I got an Apple computer, so I'm trying to look at the apps I use. I got a lot of weird, like Google Chrome. You guys may or may not use that. I got a lot of stuff that people don't use because I'm a weird guy, but like Pages and Keynote, like you might have PowerPoint on your computer downloaded. You can use it anywhere, whether you're connected to the internet or not. Free Show is like that. Okay. And so in person, you can use it like as a presentation program, like how you might use PowerPoint. Okay. So a lot of people use PowerPoint. They'll connect the computer to an HDMI cord, connect it to the projector or to the TV, and then they'll make sure that they send out a signal to that TV that shows their presentation. That's exactly how Free Show works, but it's just, I'm gonna say 10 times better, but I would say it's 10 times different. Okay. For me, it's better. Okay. Because it allows me to have so much more flexibility. Like I can show scriptures, right? I can literally, instead of using PowerPoint and having to preset what scriptures I'm going to have and all this stuff, I can literally do a search for scriptures. I can go to Joshua chapter 5, or let's say Joshua chapter 1, and I can pull it up pretty quick and pretty easy. And I can't do that in PowerPoint. You can't make PowerPoint do that at all unless you copy this out, put it into a slide, and then prepare it that way. Free Show is designed to work on the fly. Like if you got a media team and you're teaching or sharing, or if you're in a conference or something like that, and somebody's got something they're talking about and they want to make that bullet point pop up. Like I've got my notes down here, or you can see my, I call them, they're called overlays at the bottom. So I can make that one say review just as quick and easy as I can make it say Q&A, because I've got that as a way that you can change the overlays that show up. I can't do that in PowerPoint. I can't put overlays in PowerPoint, right? And so that's the idea that Free Show adds. It adds this flexibility that you can't get in a simple slideshow program. It's not a simple slideshow program. It's so Keynote. So you know about Keynote. So Keynote is like PowerPoint. It is more than just a Keynote replacement. That's what I'll say. It's more than a replacement, Tony. It's an improvement, let's say. And so if you want to use it as a as Keynote, you very well could. Okay, you can literally make shows, right? And this program is designed for ministries. It was designed with ministries in mind, but it is fully functional for anything. So we got a friend on here that does it for conferences, right? They literally use it for conferences. You can use it for trade shows. You can use it in city hall or in schools. And so you can make any show you want. So I can say new show, and I can make it be an empty show. So I'm gonna call this one training show. We'll just call it training show. I can pick a category that I want it in, which I can make myself. And this just helps you organize all your different shows. So I'm gonna call this one presentations, and I can make it just be an empty search. I can do a web search. If I wanted it to be a song, I can literally search for songs and it'll automatically put the lyrics in there for me. or I can do quick lyrics, right? So quick lyrics allow you to take text that you've already made, like in a key, not keynote, but like a pages document or a Word document or a Google Doc, and you can copy it and then paste it in. So I can literally just paste in information there if I had it, or you can just do an empty show. And that's what I'll do here. And then it says, okay, well, you need to make a new slide. What do you want to put on the slide? And then you would just customize what you want that slide to look like by arranging your text boxes. You can put backgrounds to it. You can make it stylized, have motion backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. And then you dictate how it's shown to your audience, right? For me, if I'm just a one-man band and I'm doing a Zoom meeting, I'm not projecting this out on anything. I've just got it on my other monitor. I got a laptop here and I got a monitor up here that's showing everything that you guys are seeing. And so I'm looking at the monitor just like you guys are. But the idea with that is that it allows you to, just like in PowerPoint, to show your show, you need to have another monitor typically or screen. So Keynote, or not Keynote, but FreeShow uses another screen to show you what you got, but you can also send that out to multiple places, right? You can send it out to another screen that just shows a stage display. You can send it out to another screen that just shows a live stream display. So this is my live stream display. All I've got to do is showing the overlays. It doesn't show any text. So this is what I would show online because I would have a video in the background potentially, right? So if I'm doing a talking head here, you'll see that that Q&A is down at the bottom down there. Okay, it's down at the bottom. So you can see that, but that's because I've got FreeShow to actually send a signal that is different than the main primary in-house signal, but it has the same content, just formatted in a different way. So this particular output for my live stream, I just wanted to show the overlays. But if I go back, you'll see that my actual in-house is showing a whole scripture. When I go back to my other view, you don't see the scripture because I turned that off on this output. So it shows you, it lets you put out the same content, but it allows you to format it in different ways on different screens. And this is a virtual screen. This is an NDI screen that you guys are looking at me on for this live stream. So this is what it looks like when you use NDI, which can allow you to send it to multiple virtual outputs, which is a really cool thing. All right. So it's a Keynote replacement on steroids. It's like Keynote exponentially increased for that. So let's see here. Somebody said, where would you add videos in FreeShow? Either pre-made or YouTube. Where would you add those? LJ, that's a great question. Where would I add videos? So the first place I would do, if I had a video that I pre-made, I would go down to the drawer, right? So down here, this little tab at the bottom, right? If you just open it up, it'll probably be open already, but this is where you would have all your content, okay? So we got shows. So this shows all the different shows I've got. I got the pastor notes. I don't have anything in that category, but presentations, songs. I got a list of all my songs here. The Sunday worship, that was an example. Scriptures, I got a bunch of different scriptures I've looked for. This is my scripture history in a sense. FreeShow Friday, I got some different things that I've made for that, right? So I got some shows that I've made. But when you go to the next tab, which is media, this is where I would make sure that if I've got pre-made videos, I would load them up into here, okay? And so what you would do is you would say new folder, and then you go on your computer and you'll find where that is. So me, I got movie folders, right? So I got a folder called movies. I've already added it, but maybe you got another folder. Maybe you want to add them from your desktop. You would just tell FreeShow where you want to point it to find the videos, right? And so for me, I've got a videos folder here, and let's see here. I got a bunch of different videos. These are a lot of my old videos and tests and things like that. And I could simply click on one of those and play it. Okay. And it'll just start playing in FreeShow. So let me see. Let's do I'm trying. Oh, I got the Bible Project. All right. So here's some videos that are like actually edited videos. Those that you guys saw were kind of raw. Let's see here. So this is a video from Exodus, Genesis. So this is a video that's been preloaded. This is on my computer in a folder called Bible Project. Okay. So I've actually added the video to my computer, and then I just point by hitting this new folder icon. I tell FreeShow, hey, I want you to pull videos from there, and they just show up in here. Okay. Now I've got some options. So I can literally right click, or let's go back to the show settings, right? So my main page here, we started this here, and then I can take this video and I can drag it into the show just like that. Okay. And now it's there. So if I start here and it's completely blank, as you guys can see, I can go here and check out what happens. It just starts playing the video. All right. And that's the video playing right there. Now I've got the video. Let me see. Yeah, I don't have the audio on for that video, which is good. I don't want you guys to hear, but if I turn the audio back on, so it's here. Let's see what it sounds like. So it's showing up as a background image. Let me see here. All right.
We're walking through the book of
So there you go.
Genesis, which is made up of these two main parts.
And the first part begins in the garden, where we watch humanity
So
spiral
this is what your audience
downward
would
in
see.
self-destruction.
All right.
And it ends in the Tower of Babel, where
So let me
a
mute that.
rebellious humanity is scattered by God.
Then the second
We'll do
part
it
of
this
Genesis.
way. All right. And so you have full video control. You can mute the video. You can skip back 10 seconds if you wanted to. You can do all kinds of stuff with your videos in FreeShow. Now, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is if I actually had like a project that I was working on, right? So if you had like a Sunday service, excuse me, I got something in my eye. But if you had like a Sunday service or something like that, or a conference event or something along those lines, I would create a whole new project and I would put those videos in. So what you would do is you go here. So I went to the main page on the left, the main left bar. It shows you like all the different projects you have, and you can just make a new project. So I'm gonna say new project, and I'm gonna call this test video. And now when I hit enter, it automatically takes me into this new project, right? And so this could be for an actual day of the week, or an event, a conference, or whatever it is. And I can say, you know what? I want this particular video. I want to add it to the project. And I just simply right clicked on it. And so now Genesis Part 2, which is the name of that video, is there. And I'm going to actually stop the video so it won't be distracting to you guys. But I can add that there. I can also add other sections to this project, which is what we were going to talk about anyway. So for a regular service, right, you might have opening countdown as a section in the service. Another section might be prayer. Another section might be, we'll just call it worship. Okay. And then you might have another section that's called teaching. And in these sections, you will put in different shows. And if it's just videos, you might have, so this particular video, I can drag it into the opening countdown section, right? And you can see that it's there. I can take other shows and drag those in. So I can put in these different, so I got variable slides. I can put that into my teaching section here. All right. And so now I got this slideshow here. I got this particular section called opening countdown. And inside of there, there's this video. Okay. I go to this next session on prayer. I can go and I can add different slides in there, different shows. And I think I made one. Let me see. I think I made one called City Hill. Let's go to presentations. I don't think it's in there. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay. So City Hill service playlist, start with timer. And so you can put all kinds of slides. So I can slide this in there. This is post service. So I'll drag it. I'll just drag it in there for now, but you can add your different things in there. So if you got multiple videos, you would just arrange your show, arrange your project, right? So your project is like a full service or an event, whatever it is that you're working with FreeShow in, and you organize it in this project, which is really cool, especially for ministries. So ministries, what they do is they'll usually have the same type of service each week. And from there, you can go back. So I got this called test video. So it's down here. It's called test video. I can right click on test video. And if I want to do that every week, that same layout, I can just go to create a template, right? And what it'll do is it'll save all these settings in terms of all the particular sections that I've made. And it'll even keep all these actual shows in there. And then all you do is change out the put in new songs or put in the new teaching notes and new scriptures and all that stuff by dragging them in. And all you're doing is opening up a new project. And I've got a few projects templates that I've made here. You're just you just opening up the same old template and just changing out the text and putting in a new date. So it'll automatically do it. So let's say I've got one called Sunday, and it'll say, okay, what do you want to rename that? So I clicked on that template, and I'm gonna just call this one, today is the 30th. So I'm gonna say 5:30. And when I click it, it opens up and it shows me my opening, my worship, my teaching, my closing, which is a template that I made months ago. And it has announcement slides in it. It's got a welcome slide. It's got a song in there. It's got some teaching notes. These are just mock teaching notes. So they're not from my real ministry time. and then announcements, which is the same thing as the opening. Okay. And so you can arrange it and then save it as a project template, and you can always do that. Okay. And use that same one. Let's see here. Let's go to some more questions from you guys. Where would you add videos? So LJ, did that help answer that question? Let me know. So if you, and then for YouTube, going back to YouTube real quick, you would just go to online, and then you would select the option that says YouTube, and then you would hit add. And so you have to have access to the internet the whole time. You can't download a YouTube video, but you would go here and click add, and you would just put in the name of the video and then the link. And then you'll be able to manipulate it just like pretty much any other video like you just saw me do earlier. All right. And then Brian, welcome. It says, this question is about the show, Free Show Friday. Can you put the date of the show on the live screen and or the topic of the show? Oh, I got you, Brian. So you mean like another template? Let me see here. Let's do that real quick. And I'll have to make a new button for it. That's what I'm trying to. I got room for a button, I think. Yeah, I got a room for a button too. So you guys will see me. So Brian's asking, can I make the topic of the entire show with the date in the show? Brian, make sure I'm getting that right. And so if I were to do that, I would go to my overlays, because that needs to be an overlay. And I got some Free Show Friday topics here. All right. And this is what you guys have been seeing. So I got them. They're just called GB Junior lower third, GB Junior lower third 2, 3, QA, and review. So I'm going to take one of those and I'm going to just duplicate it. So I'm going to right click on this and we're going to duplicate it. So I got that one there. And we're going to change the name of this one. And I'm going to, well, that's fine too. But let me change the name, rename. This is 3.2. Let's rename it and call this one title. All right. So it went down there, but I got it here. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this up at the top. And then I'm going to, so right now this is like a dynamic value. Okay. And so I'm going to delete it right now. And I'm going to show you how I made it. So I'm going to go to my functions and I go to variables. And I've got Free Show Friday topics. So this is where I actually every Friday or whenever I'm going to Free Show to get ready for Free Show Friday, I just go in here and I type in my beginner topic, my intermediate, and my advanced topic. What he's saying is, hey, Gary, can you make one that just says title and date? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to do text. And I'm going to call this Free Show Friday title and date. Hit enter and it locks it in. And so now I've got that here. I really don't really, well, yeah, I do need that. I need that. All right. So I'll have that here. I don't need it to say date, but that's okay. And let's say today is all about, I'm going to call this, what did I say? The theme of it is all about like navigating your service is the idea. That's what I sent out to the mailing list, navigate your service. So we'll say navigate your service. That would be the title. And I'll add the date in there as well on here. I'm not going to add it down here because that's something I don't need to manually do. All right. And so this is designed to help me, like as if I were a volunteer at your ministry. I just want to go into a section and just type in the name of the next speaker, the name of the whatever, whatever needs to be changed. Right. And these are just the topics I'm going to use as my overlays. And so now I go here and I can right click in my edit page and I can go to dynamic values. And from dynamic values, I go all the way down to the bottom and there's this thing called variables, which is exactly what we just made. Okay. So you can see my beginner 1 topic, my 2 intermediate topic, 3 advanced topic, and I got a speaker and a website as well, but those I don't use for Free Show Friday. And then I've got this one, navigate your service, which is the Free Show Friday title and date. So I'm going to click that and it adds it in there. That's step 1. But then we said the date. I didn't put the date in my, I can put it down here in the variable, but I don't want to do that. I don't think I could rename this. Let me see. Let me see if I can edit it. Yes, I can't change the name of it, which is hilarious. But I'm going to go up here though, and I'm going to go back and right click and do another dynamic value that's just going to put the date in there for me every week. Okay. So for here in America, we do, so today is, so I'm going to do month. Look, so month, and then I'm going to do dynamic value, day, and I need to put a slash in there. Let's see, a slash, and then I'll put a space here. I'll put a dash. All right. And then I'll put another slash here, and we need to put in the year. All right. So I'm gonna right click, dynamic value, and then year. So that's done, but this is going to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to make it be a little bit taller. And the text box is set to auto size, which is good. But let's see if we can make that work. All right. So now I need to be able to show you guys what it looks like. So I'm gonna go back to my overlays, which is where I made this, and you'll see it down here. All right. And so if I click that, check out what happens. It shows up there. Now, what I would probably rather do is probably make it longer than tall. So I'm gonna just drag it across like this. So it'll be a little bit bigger. All right. And then I'll refresh. And now you guys can see it there that it's a lot bigger. And I'll put another space in between the dash to make it a little bit easier to see. And then we'll refresh that. And you'll see it have a little space in between the dash there. Now, Mr. Brian, let me know if that's what you were talking about. So this question is about the show. Can you put the date of this show on the live screen and or the topic of the show? So yes. And the title is also in the date is also on my thumbnails too. So that'll be there, but I'll use this as well. I'll make a button to make this pop up all the time too. Great question. All right, let's see here. More questions. Let's go to, can you add YouTube video of a choir singing? Absolutely. Now, when I switch over real quick, I use BitFocus Companion. So when I switch to a new topic, it automatically clears out those particular the overlays that I already had. So you guys might get confused or frustrated with that thing going away. Let me see if I can change that. So this is going to be advanced level stuff now. So we're going to go into BitFocus Companion real quick, let you guys see how I got this customized. So right now I've got buttons. So I use this on my tablet. So I've got a tablet, this right here, iPad, the old iPad that I used to use, and it's got all this information on it. And oh, let's do this. Let me drag this back down so I can see the comments you guys are making. I'll put that here. All right. And so the BitFocus Companion, this is an advanced level feature. So this is not something for beginners to try to wrap your head around, but it's something to look forward to if you want simplicity. I use this for simplicity. I got a lot of buttons here. Check out my video on BitFocus Companion to give you a better idea of what's going on, because there is a lot. But each of these topics, or each of these buttons, I should say, represent an action that I'm going to take. All right. So this particular button, if you look on the right, it's called Review. I titled it there. It's at 18-point font with a pink background. That's just so it can stand out for me to see what's going on. And I know those are all my topics, right? At a glance, I can just click on those on my screen here. But it has some actions. When I press it, it does something in FreeShow, which is clear overlays. Then it does another thing at the same time with one button. It adds a new overlay, which is the LT review, GB Junior LT review that I talked about, right? And so what I need to do is I need to make it clear the overlays and then keep the one though that is the title one that we just made. So let's go to FreeShow. Let me see the title of that one. That one is called GB Junior LT Lite. So I'm gonna go here and edit it. Not edit it. I'm gonna rename it so I can get the name and copy it. I'm just gonna copy it just as it is. So I'm gonna copy that out. That's my new overlay that I need. And then it says toggle overlay by name. That's fine. I'm going to add an action. All right. So I'm going to say add, and then we're going to say FreeShow. And it has to do with overlays. And let's see here. Oh, that one was toggle overlays. So this is toggle overlay by name. Let me see if there's one that just says overlay. Let me do a search. Toggle. So all of them are just toggles. All right. That's cool. What I'm going to do is cancel that, and I'm going to make a FreeShow action. I like doing actions for stuff. Let's see. Action, new action, FreeShow Friday title and date. All right. So we got a variable for it, but this is going to be an action that triggers it and makes it pop up. So I'm going to say start action is going to be overlay. So start an overlay, and I'm going to pick the overlay, and it's GB Junior title something. There we go. GB Junior LT title. All right. That's the one I want to start. And so it's called FSF title and date. I'm going to copy that. All right. Lock all that in. And then I'm just going to go back to BitFocus companion, and I'm going to make an action that's just called, and I'm going to do a search for actions here. So run action by name. And so I click on this right here that says run action by name. And it says, okay, a free show run action. What's the name of the action? And I'm going to put FreeShow Friday title and date. And it's that simple. All right. So now whenever I do review, it's going to pull in that particular title. Okay. And I just clicked on the word review. Now I need to do the same thing for all these other ones. So I can go to Q&A, which it has the same clear overlays and it does that, but I need to add that action. And actually, let's see, it might populate. Run action by name is there saved, and I'm just paste that in. So to do that, free show title and date, I want that. And that's saved. And then I'll do the same thing here, adding an extra action. So these are all one button presses, but then it does this, okay? So we'll paste that in, and I'm gonna put this one up here. So I want the clear overlays and then put that, and then wait some 30 milliseconds to do the next one there. All right. And we'll do this one. Uh-oh. I don't want to do that. I didn't select it. Run action and then paste it in. All right. And I'm gonna drag it up above the weight. Okay. And then I'll do the same thing here. Run action, paste in the name of the action, and I'm gonna drag it up. So after it clears overlays, it's gonna put that, it should put that in there. Let's see. All right, so now we're on Q&A. That does that. We do this. It does that. Project templates. It does that. Custom stage layouts. It'll do that. So it'll flash each time I switch, but I'm okay with that. I don't mind that at all. All right. So hopefully that addresses that. Go back to some Q&A. This question's about, okay, we got that. Tony says, can you add YouTube videos for the choir singing? Now, Tony, help me understand what you're asking about the choir singing. Are you saying, can you add YouTube videos of a choir singing? Or are you saying, can you add YouTube videos of lyrics for the choir to sing? Okay. But the answer to both is yes. If that particular YouTube video allows you to embed, I believe is the option. As long as it allows you to embed it, and it'll tell you basically, it says, hey, this video is not able to be played. And that means that creator of that video said, I do not want my video to be able to be embedded. And that's something we can't really control. All right. Good question though. Okay. Forever Reigning Church International. This free show has gone far. Man, it has. I would agree. Let's see here. David says, so going back, he's answering the question. So of a choir singing, yes, all you would do is you would go do the same thing that I talked about earlier. You would go to your media tab, and then you would go to online, and you just select YouTube. You can do Vimeo videos as well if you have those. But you can do a YouTube video and then just click add. And what you would have to do though is before you get here, you would just copy and paste the URL, the share URL, and you would just paste that in there and then call it choir singing. All right. And then it would paste it in there and it'll be there. Let me see if I can find a video of a choir singing though. That's a good question here. Let's see. And I'll let you see if it works. Choir singing. So it'll just be kind of random, but let's see here. This is the Mississippi Mass Choir. All right. So I've seen the Mississippi Mass Choir before, or heard them, I should say. My mom, we used to listen to that all the time as a kid. And so I'm going to copy this video. Let me pull up the screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So I went and did a YouTube search and I just typed in choir singing and I found this one here. So I'm gonna click on these three dots and I'm gonna click the option that says share and I'm going to copy it. I'm just copying that link. All right. Then I'm gonna go into FreeShow. I'm just gonna paste that in and add it. And let's see here. Where is it at? Choir singing is right here. It gives me that error message, right? So when I click that, I lost there. Okay, here we go. All right. So there's that. So yes, you can play it. And it will be there. Okay. And so it looks like this. This is the choir singing, but when I click it, it actually starts up. When I click it there, you'll see that it shows up and starts playing the video. Okay. It's popping up over because it is showing up as a background video, which covers up my screen. It covers up my live stream view. Okay, which is fine. That's just something I can set up or not set up. All right. So hopefully that answers that question. Let me see here. Where is my? Oh, here we are. I'm just trying to make sure I can see you guys to answer any other questions. Let's see. So we're in Q&A. So yeah, hopefully that helps you, Tony. Let's see. We were at Forever Reigning Church International. That's a hilarious comment. I completely agree, by the way. Let's see here. David, could you make YouTube videos start at a specific time from the link feature? All right. So can you make YouTube videos start at a particular time from the link feature? All right. So let's talk about how you would do something like that. All right. Let's close this. And this goes back. So this is one of my favorite topics about FreeShow, and it has to do with using it with actions, right? So navigating your show, I'm gonna always recommend that you all try implementing actions because it gives you that control to make things start at a certain time. So if you have a video, so let's try this YouTube video thing. Let me go back to my test project that we were in. I don't know. Okay, test video. So I had these different things going on here. Don't really need them. But let's see, if I right click on this, you'll see the option that says add to project, right? That's one way to do it. So I can add it to the project and I can make it to where it's there. But what I want to do is I want to make a new show and add it, see if I can add it to that show. Let's see, do I got anything called training? Let's see here. Presentations, training show. Perfect. This is the one. All right. So I'm going to right click on this one. I'm going to delete this because you guys said it's specifically a YouTube video. So let's go back to our media. So I got an empty show. This is an empty slideshow. And let's see if I can drag this on here. It didn't go in there. Let's see if I can drag this into the slide. It didn't go there either. So you can add them into a project. All right. So you can add it into a project. So if I right click on this, I can add it to a project, but that does not make it an actual, I don't think it makes it an actual show. Let's see. If I say functions, no, let's go to calendar. Let's see if I can make it start. So in here, this is where you actually can set things up to start at a certain time. Okay. If you look on the right side, you'll see that I've got FreeShow Friday, my actual FreeShow Friday show, countdown timer, I should say, that's the show. It's the Friday countdown. It starts at 10:55 in FreeShow automatically, whether I'm at my computer or not. As long as I got FreeShow open, it'll do that. Okay. And it's going to be 6 more days and 22 hours and 45 minutes before it'll do it again. But I've got it set to do that every week. And you'll see that here. Every week, I got it set to do that. And that's as a scheduled action. So I go here and it says schedule action. And I'm going to say new event. And we're going to make this happen today. So today's the 30th and it is 12:09. So we're going to make this be 12:11 p.m. It says choose your action. I want it to be a show, so I want to start a show. Now here's the question. Will it actually pull up that as a show? And I don't think it will. Yeah, so when I type in choir singing, it doesn't come up that way. So it doesn't let me find that as a show. So the YouTube video piece, I don't think there's a way, at least not right off the top of my head, that I can schedule it to play. I can put it into a project. Let me see. If I do new event, I don't think there's a thing that says start a project, but maybe there is. Oh yeah. So open a project. So you can make it open a project, but I'm trying to see if there's a thing that makes it start a video. Media, start camera, start screen, start overlay. Not a YouTube video, but the YouTube video would probably be in the media section. And that might be a feature we need to ask about. You might submit something for that. And then they got this option to run an action. So let me see if there's a way we can make an action that'll do that. We got start show here, open show with a name. But yeah, adding a YouTube video to a show would be the easiest way to do it. Let's see if there's an action that we can make that would do something like that. I'm just going to check here real quick. So under media, same options there. You can open a project. Okay, so maybe you can make it be open a project and then the next project item could be there is that. So you would play with I would play with the actions and set it up to where this choir singing project item is what it is. It's a project item. It's not necessarily a show though. You would make that be there in that way is the way I would consider it. And so let's say this is test video. So I'm gonna say open project. We're gonna say test video. Oh, it's not letting me do a search. Let me scroll down. All right, here we go. Test video. And then we wanted to go to next project item. Let's see, open project item at index. That's what we want. We wanted to open the project item. Okay, so we'll make it be item 0 for now. Let's see what that does. All right, and what that means, 0 is like the first thing. So I'm gonna drag this all the way up to the top. The choir singing. It's there. Let's see if I can put it above. All right, so choir singing is at the top. All right. Now, let's see here. I didn't even pick what did I name that? Start project. Previous slide. I don't think I named it. Let me go make sure to name it. Look, we're gonna say start choir. Unless I didn't call it choir or something, did I? No. All right. I'm gonna say on YouTube. All right, we're gonna use that same choir. We'll do the same thing. So I'm gonna say open a project. That's step 1. And we want it to be test video. And then we're going to also add another step. So you can add actions that have multiple steps. I'm going to say open a project item at index, and it's going to be at 0, which is fine. And then lock that in and close it. And so that was called start choir. Let's see. Here we go, start choir on YouTube. So now I'm going to go to a different project though. Let's test this out to see if it does anything. So let's go to this one. This is all the way back from January. All right. I'm gonna go here. So actions work to where when you click them, they just activate. So now I click that. It didn't start the choir. All right. So, it's open. It says opening countdown, but that's my first item there. And if I click it, it'll start to play it, obviously. But okay, let's check that again. So let's do start choir on YouTube. Let's edit this to make it be, instead of it being 0, let's make it be item 1. Maybe that's the issue. And I just hit enter to lock it in. I do that all the time. Let's go back out. Let's go to another project. All right. And I'm going to click this again. So I'm in a different project called, this is a project, this just the old project that I had. I'm going to do start choir on YouTube action that we just created. And it skips down to the second one, which I knew 0 was the first item and then 1 is the next item. So it takes it to there. All right. So let's go back and make sure. Let's go to edit and change that back to 0. All right. Lock it in. Let's go back to another project. This is about actions. All right. So let's hit that action again. Let's see if we can test it out. and it selects it, but it doesn't open it for some reason. So it goes to it. It's there. I see the box around it, but it doesn't play it. Let's say edit again. Let's see if there's an action to actually play the show. Slide, next slide. Show, open show, start show. That would make sense, but it's going to make me select the show. And this one's called Choir. And I don't think it made it into a show. Yeah, that would be something we have to see here. Yeah, I don't see an option to do that just yet to where you can make it do that. That's a good question though. And then let's see here. LJ said, yep, this, let's see here. Where would you add videos? Okay, perfect. And then let's see here. Of choir singing, fantastic. All right. I didn't miss anything. Somebody deleted the message, so I can't remember what it said. But David, let me know if we answered your question already or if you had a different question. I just didn't get to it. All right. Okay. So that was that. That was a little bit of a bunny trail for me because I couldn't figure it out. So I kind of got caught up in it. So forgive me, you guys. But that is an option to add the YouTube videos to your project. But I can't trigger. I don't know how to trigger it to play automatically because it's not identified as a show. It's literally just a link, an online link that it is. So something to consider. Okay. Let's see here. David says, I meant playing the video at a specific minute to show a specific portion of the video. Oh, yeah, yeah. I know on YouTube, you can check a box to start at a specific time. Gotcha. Yeah. So you would do the same thing, right? So if I go back to YouTube, oh, I don't have YouTube. Did I close it? We'll go here. We'll just say choir singing again. Let's see if we can find it. And I think it was here. All right. So if we go to this particular video, all right, and I'm gonna need to mute this though. Let's see here. Oh, it's muted. Okay. All right. So it's got an ad going. But if you okay, let's let the ad run. All right. So now if I drag this up to a certain portion of the song, let's say right here, right before that lady goes on that cut at 132. When you go to share, it gives you this option that says start at 132. If you check that box and say copy, now I go back into FreeShow, right? And we go to media and we go online, we go to YouTube, which it already is at, and then we hit add. And I'm going to say choir at, I think it was 137 or something like that. And I would just paste in that link there and I hit add. So now I got this new link. Now this link, when I click it, it should start with the lady right when it's that close up of her. So let's see what it does. When I click it, nope, it didn't. It didn't cut to that spot like I expected, which is interesting. And my Q&A was looking funky on this. Now that looks weird, but that's just because that's the primary. Okay, so that's the primary screen. It's not the not my live stream. My live stream looks fine to me though, which is good. All right. So yeah, it doesn't let you do that, but if you right click on this, let's say, what does it do? If you edit does that, I don't need that. If I right click on it, if we say add to project, right, and you click on it, show media preview controls, you can literally just drag it to where you want it to start yourself. So I can go to that lady myself right here, run that 130 mark, and then I believe you can make it play. So when you click it here, nope, it still starts at the beginning. You have to do it from, you would have to go, when you start playing it, you would hit up under this here and you would just skip up to the point that you want. So you would have to do it from here. And then I can make it start with her right there. really big. Okay. And that's in the right side column that gives you the actual control of what your audience is seeing. This inside column, this middle column, gives you an idea of a preview of what you're looking at. Okay. So you can skip around in here if you wanted to. Okay. And that's something totally different. This is just a preview for you. Okay. But yeah, so it doesn't do it exactly like I thought in terms of you can copy and paste that time frame like you can when you do share, like you talked about. I know exactly what you're talking about, but when you check that box, it doesn't do anything in the program. It doesn't change the actual link for you. Now, when I do share like in a text message or something like that, it does carry over. And I think it has something to do because this is really just embedding as opposed to just sharing. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's my take on it at least. All right. What other questions do you guys have while we're going through any other questions? I'm gonna get a sip of water. Great questions so far. All right. My last point that I wanted to make with you guys has to do with stage layouts, right? So customizing your stage layout in FreeShow. So we've had a lot of questions about how does this compare to PowerPoint or to Keynote, right? How can you use it with Zoom and all these different things? Well, when you're using it in person, okay, when you're using FreeShow in-house or in person, and I don't want you guys to be distracted by this fancy choir going on, Mississippi Mass. I'll clear that out too. All right. And I don't want you to be distracted by this guy up here either. Let's see. We'll do that. Something generic. All right. So stage layouts. In that entire setup that I made, we made a lot of custom stage layouts. Now, this is important because if you go up here to the top and go to stage, each person that's on stage may want to see something different or may need to see something different. Okay. And let me check real quick. We got a comment come in from our friend from Thailand. Let's see. Thank you for all the clips you made. I learned a lot from them. And tomorrow I have a good time to training 100 people from the Thai local church to start using FreeShow on their church. Please pray for me. Oh, man. Lord, bless our friend to have wisdom and understanding and to have great success with this particular event. That's going to be exciting. So, yes, if you got more questions, let me know before we wrap up today, and I can do my best to answer them for you real time. I love that. I love to hear it. And think about what you think they might ask you. Think about what you think they might ask, and I can help if you don't know the answer. That's what I'm saying. David says, I was wondering if you can import a lower third PowerPoint going to a live stream over the full size PowerPoint going to the mainstream. Or do I need to export the lower thirds as PNGs and manually overlay them? All right. So David, you're saying you're using PowerPoint for one, is what I'm hearing. I can import a lower third PowerPoint. If you're using FreeShow, so I don't know, I can't speak for PowerPoint so much, but if you made the lower third in PowerPoint, is what I'm understanding, and it's a true lower third, maybe you exported it as a PNG. That means the rest of it is transparent, right? So you got this graphic that you made, and the rest of it is transparent. You can make an overlay in FreeShow. Let's go back. You can make an overlay in FreeShow that has a graphic. Like I got this overlay right here that's a QR code, right? It's a graphic. Okay. And so you can make it be whatever you want. This one's I believe that's a PNG graphic as well. And so it's not a full lower third across, but it's the same idea. It can work for sure. And it can go over the top of whatever you want displaying in FreeShow. Now, if you're trying to play a PowerPoint through FreeShow, I've never done that just because I don't have a Windows computer. Okay, so forgive me. But you said, can you show it over the full size PowerPoint going to the main? Yes, you can if you've got that lower third that you've made, right? So maybe I'm gonna say for me, I would say my lower thirds, I would make it in Canva. Let's say I made it in Canva, or I just made it in FreeShow. But maybe you got a special little graphic that you like. And I'm saying this as if it's an image. So let's say it's an image as opposed to motion, right? So it's not a video, it's actually an image that you've exported out as a PNG. So it's transparent on the top, but it's this colorful, whatever fancy thing that you've made from wherever you got it, whether it's PowerPoint, whether it's from Canva or Photoshop, wherever you got it, you can make a actual overlay that has it, right? So you would go to, let's see, I'm gonna say test overlay, all right? And that test overlay, I'm just making it here real quick. It might look something like this. Yours will probably be a lot fancier, which is fine with me. So I'm gonna make it just be a big box at the bottom. And let's click it, and we can make it be a different color. We'll make it be a gradient. We'll say fancy blue. I like fancy blue, but I like my orange and yellow more. We'll do that one. All right, so we got that one. And then we can do something else. So this is the one thing that you can do. And then you add in, make it fancy, right? This is my version of fancy. It's probably not that fancy to everybody. But then you can do some other stuff to it, right? So you might say, okay, I want to make it have that. But on this side, I want it to look like this and have that. And then I'm gonna make another one. Oh, let's change the color of this. So we're gonna say this one is going to be a solid background that will be maybe blue like that. I don't know. We start getting into design stuff, it can take some time. All right, so I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna duplicate this, and we'll put this one over here. All right, and this one won't be that blue, it'll be that blue. I don't know how fancy that is. But so now you got this series of different spaces, and so you got that, and now this is your lower third image, real fancy like. And so now if I go to my overlays, I can click on that and it shows up there. Okay. But that's not as far as you need to go. You need to, if you're going to have a lower third, to me, what I would do is I would actually make the lower third, make it worth your while. So I would right click in here and I would do edit, and then I would add in another item. And it kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier. So I will make one that has a text box, and then I would put, so I got those. I probably think my boxes look crazy, but what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to put in different information in each of those spaces. All right. And so we got this one here, and this one is going to have a dynamic value of the month. Uh-oh. Let's put that there, and we can right click, make another one, and we'll just say the year for the sake of time. All right. And then I'll put another text box, and then I'm gonna make that be automatic to fit. Okay. So we need to make that auto size so it'll fit in there. And then this one, we'll make this one have some other dynamic text. So this one might have the name of the show. Okay. This one is another text box. I'm right clicking. I'm just adding dynamic values, and these things will change throughout. These will have the speaker name. So this will have my name in there. And then this one, I'll put another text box that has my website. Okay. And this is a basic lower third, but it's something that could work, right? So I'll go to dynamic values, and I'm gonna go down here. I got a variable called my website, and I'll just put that there, right? And so now, oh, let's make sure that this particular text box will fit, and this one will fit, and this one will auto. And I say fit, it's called auto size, so to make sure it shrinks to fit. And so now when I click it, that same generic text box looks like this now. Now there's no show plan, so it doesn't show the name of the show, but it should show the name of the show. I'm not sure why it's not doing that. Because on here it shows it as City Hill, but it's not showing up there. Let's go back to our shows, and let's see if I were to go to, yeah, that dynamic value is not changed. It says variable slides down there. Oh, let's refresh. Oh, it's not showing up on my my live stream, but because I've got a style that doesn't show all that text, but in real life it would show some information down at the bottom there in the blue, big blue. Okay, so technically, yeah, you could do that. You could have something that is there over your slides, basically. Let's see here. It says I don't need to export the lower thirds as PNGs and manually overlay them. So I'm guessing you would say that's a manual overlay, David, but I would put variable text or dynamic text in it. That's what I would say to make it to where the overlay is really just the background. Basically put in a background and then put your text where you want in FreeShow and make it be variable or dynamic, and you can always update that. And so you would have it to where it's like this. You can see these words in there, but those words tomorrow, this is going to say, well, I don't know, whenever it gets to June, it'll say 06 2025. And here I can change the name of the person and all that stuff, the name of the website. All I do is go to my functions and go to variables, and I can change all that information. All right. And you don't have to keep making and exporting a new PNG with it has the text embedded. You would just put the text in FreeShow and make it fit in the right space for you. All right. Thomas Saunders, a cool way to do lower thirds is to use the free version of H2R graphics with FreeShow. I actually have it used. I actually have used it through OBS, but the concept is the same. Okay, so there's another one. So he's got a program called H2R. I never used it before, but I'm guessing it is maybe some motion graphics or something like that that are pretty cool. Like I said, I did generic ones. For me, my lower thirds, I'm pretty basic with lower thirds, as you guys can see. So I'm not going to act like I'm the best with those. But if I were to go to Canva and try to make something pretty fancy, I could pretty easily do it just from a template, but I would still put dynamic text from FreeShow on top of it. Does that make sense? And so like I've got media that I've downloaded from what's it, Canva, right? And so these are videos. Let me see here to give you an example. Okay. So let's say let's make a new show. And I'll just go to my test show. This is my test video show. So let's do a new show here. Test video placement show. Right. So when you download something, and I'm gonna say a video specifically, but I'm gonna go to my media real quick. Let's see if I can drag that in there. I don't even know if I can do that. I should know this. Yeah. Okay. Dragged it right on in there. Perfect. All right. So I got this video here, and this video has some cool effects with it, but it's got this little circle on it. And so I would say I'm gonna put something in that circle. So I would say items, and I would add a text box. And I don't know where my text box went. Let's see here. Oh, it's there. Okay. I couldn't see it. So let me delete that one. I got two of them. All right. So I got this one here. I would probably fit something into this little box here. Right? Right in there. And that little, I say that little box, in that little circle. So you might, in here, I'll put that variable text, and I might put dynamic values. We'll put this, and then hit enter, and then I'm gonna put in the website. Okay. Now I've got those in that box. They're way over the top of the box, but if I go to the text box and I say auto size, it'll fit inside the box now. Okay. So now if I go to show and I play it, you'll see that that little graphic is showing up and my name is there. Okay. Ignore the the extra template thing stuff going on right there. But you'll see my name there, and that's got this little graphic thing. That's what I would do if I were to download or make my own overlay, lower third overlay. Make it have space where you can actually type in space. You can put in your own text, basically, is what I would say. Okay. And so this could be like a countdown timer. So these are all here. I would probably put the time maybe in this space or just right in the middle right here, right? You can put a timer in there. So if I go back and I go to edit, I can put in, I'm gonna go to items and timer. That's a 1 second timer. We don't want that. Let's make it be a 10-minute countdown, and I'm gonna make it fit inside that circle. And this is just off from a template I downloaded from Canva, right? This video background. So that timer's there. You can give it a funky font, right? Something that's kind of fitting the mood here. I don't know. They got some cool ones in here. Just go with this. It's kind of bold. It's supposed to be bold. Not as bold as I thought it was going to be. This one looks kind of funky. There we go. All right, so that's that. And now if I go back to my show and I do this, You'll be able to see that. Oh, where did the timer go? Let me refresh it. There we go. All right, so the timer's there. Let me start the timer. So I'm gonna go to my timers here, and we'll start the 10-minute countdown timer. So it'll look even cooler. And so it'll look like that. And this text here for the timer and the text down there is all dynamic. The rest of that stuff, the black and blue stuff, the red stuff, that's all just a video that's just doing what it does. Okay. So that's a way that you can intermingle some pre-made templates and all that kind of stuff, and just drag them in and then arrange your dynamic text or your text. You can put a text box in there. I like dynamic text because you can freely change it as needed without having to go through a lot of editing and all that stuff. I would just change it by going to my variables and just changing the information in there. All right. Let's see here. The reason to use HDR is that you can control it using BitFocus Companion. I like the idea of using BitFocus Companion. I've never used H2R, but you can control these with BitFocus as well. Like I said, if you make them overlays, right? You can control the overlays and all that kind of stuff, the text in them at least. And then going to see if the church I'm working will use FreeShow. My first time here. This was great. Thank you. Oh, excellent, Tony. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. A lot of cool stuff with it. Let's see. David says, I have 2 separate PowerPoints made in Canva. Okay. One for the main and one for the live stream. I usually upload PDFs, but for the lower third, I need to expect each slide. I need to export, each slide as a PNG and place them over the main slides. Yes. And then and it says, and send them slide directly to live stream. I see what you're saying. So you're trying to show the same content in a different format or a different layout. Now, what I would say is that's good to do what you're talking about. And the best way to do that is to make a template. Okay. So make a template. You need 2 different templates. You need one template for your live stream and you need one template for your in-house, which we talked about already. So I'm gonna go back to that real quick. So you would make a template for you using images, right? So PDFs or images, any graphic, right? So I'm gonna say PDFs, PNGs, JPEGs, those are all graphics of some sort, however big or small they are. So if it's an overlay or if it's a full screen, we're gonna say a full screen slide image. You would just make a template that is basically a blank slide, blank space, I guess. But you might want to have some text over it. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Tell me the reason why you want to use making the PowerPoint in Canva and not making the presentation in FreeShow would be my question. Because you can export FreeShow shows, and you can share those shows just like you can your Canva stuff. So if you're the pastor, you can make it and then share it with your media team, right? And in terms of exporting the show and then sharing that with your media team, what you created. And your media team doesn't necessarily need, like, if you have a certain background you like, you can just put that background as an actual template. That would be my thought. So these are some background options, right? Ideas. These are just generically made here, but it could be an image in the background, right? Like this is one. It's kind of like a full image with that. This is an image, right? So if you got a certain background you like with PowerPoint, that's fine because you're using images anyway. So it's not like there's any graphics in there. There's nothing moving, no motion, I should say, not graphics. There's no motion moving. So whatever that is, that PowerPoint background that you're making, just save that and then put the text in over the top in FreeShow. That would be my thought. That would be my first thought. And the reason I say that is because then you can take that other graphic, your lower thirds graphic, and make a lower thirds version of it, right? And then put on top of that lower thirds, you would put a text box in FreeShow where your text would go. So if all of your text is coming from FreeShow now, what you would do is you would just manage one slide and it'll change the format on your live stream from your in-house without the media team doing anything, or if you're the media team without you having to do anything special. You just use that template and you set that template like we talked about. You would go to your settings and you'll make that template be a part of a style to where to override. So you would set a template and make your background that you want for. I got a default one here. I got my stream training that I use that's showing the lower thirds. Oh, look at my lower thirds on there. That is getting on my nerves. So it's not deleting that for some reason, you guys. I wanted it to clear that out. But look, let me see here. So stage layout. So this one, It's clearing the overlays as a title. Okay. It does that. Maybe I was adding it in there later, but okay. Yeah, so it's doing it. All right. I must have added those overlays earlier from another way. All right. Sorry about that. But you would make your style from that template. You'll make that template override any slides and any scripture templates that you already are going to be using, and it'll automatically look the way that you want. Okay. So I would say manage your background, make the background, customize it in Canva, get fancy with it, do what you do. But then put the text in on FreeShow as a text box. If you do it that way, you don't have to have a full text version separate in lower thirds and a full text version that's a full size one that you got to manually make this do that and do that, because it's going to be not a headache, but it's going to take some ingenuity to make it work, because you have to put those on the same slide, and then you have to make one go directly to a live stream output. You got to right click on another one and make it go to the in-house output, but they're going to both be stacked on top of each other. You don't want to have to do that. This is where your templates are so important. I would just make a background template that you want and then make a text box over it. Okay. And I'll make a video about this, because that's a good question. And a fancy way to do it. So I love the idea of doing that. And so we'll hopefully have a video about that coming up next week, maybe, to where, let me make a note. I'm going to call it, the fancy David background for my notes. So fancy David background from Canva with, I'm going to call it FreeShow text. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that, okay? Or when you see the video, it'll make sense. It says, and then you want to send them directly to the live stream, right? And so we'll talk, I'll have to make a separate video to make sure to explain that, okay? So we never got to really the custom stage layouts, because we've been doing some questions. So, that's what's going on. So my Q&A is not clearing out. I'm sorry, you guys. Let me see. What's up with Q&A? Clear FreeShow. Toggle overlay. And then the title. All right, so let's add in something here. I'm going to show you guys what I got to do to make this work right. So it's not, let me see if review does the same thing. Yeah, review and Q&A. So I need to make a wait happen here. So I'm going to go in here and let's see if there's a thing that says internal wait. Yep. So I'm going to make it be really quick. 30 milliseconds. I'm going to put that in right here. We'll put it right here. All right. So clear that. And let's see. So this is the Q&A button. So now if I hit Q&A, nope, it didn't clear out stage layouts. Let's see. Clear overlays. Wait 30 seconds. Let's keep this up there. That custom stage layouts is locking up everything. I'm not sure why. Let's go to these and see what the setup is. So that one is set. Clear overlays title, and then wait there. Okay, so let's move. It's the same idea. Run action. Oh, FreeShow title. I got those mixed up. That's why. I believe, at least. Nope. It should clear out. FreeShow title and date. Interesting. I'm not sure what's going on with that, you guys. I have to figure that out, though, of why those are popping up different. And that one's there. That one's there. It should do the same thing. All right, I'll figure that out another time. But for you guys, when it comes to using the stage layouts, I'll just tease it, because you can go to that video where I did the entire service. You can literally make, I've got City Hill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different stage layouts here. And I think the only difference on a lot of them is the actual timer. So this one has a 30-minute timer. It's called the sermon stage layout. This one has a 5-minute timer, and this is the announcements stage layout. So it actually is designed to where when they will go to that part of the show or the service, it'll start this timer automatically. So the people that are doing the announcements will be able to see it real time. And then we got this one that's the start service, which is the 15-minute countdown timer. They'll be able to see that on the stage layout. And then we've got the worship time. They said they had 30 minutes of worship. This will start, and we just added an action to change this stage layout. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind as well. And the only reason my name is in there big and bold like that, which is kind of funny, is because I've got that show going on over here. This one that we made. Okay, so my name is in there right here, and my website is there. So that's why that's showing up like that. Typically, it'll be if you have scriptures or something like that, or if you got song lyrics, those will be here current in the next slide. Okay, but that would be something to consider for your layouts as an advanced level feature. Make a custom layout for your stage, and then make an action that changes it based on the flow of the service. All right. This could be helpful, especially for conferences and things like that. For a friend that said they do conferences with FreeShow, setting up a timer for each speaker that comes up. You make a custom stage layout and it'll automatically adjust, and you put an action on their notes to start that timer. That's a perfect way to use it. So what other questions do you guys have? And if there aren't any, I will be on my way to wrap this up, to head on out and get some lunch or something like that, and get ready with the next meeting I got for today. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Post any questions that come up. Post any questions that come up from it. I love to hear them. Thank you all for joining. And let's see here. Are you using OBS or streaming directly from an ATM? I'm using OBS. So I've got a capture card connected to my computer from my camera. I've got a GH5 that I'm using now that's here, and it's connected from HDMI to a capture card that's going directly into my computer. And that is one of my scenes in OBS. Let me see if I can show you in OBS what I'm looking at. Forgive me if it flakes out and looks kind of weird, but my OBS, let's see here, is here. So in OBS, I got it called GH6, but it's the same capture card. I just switched my cameras out because I'm gonna be using my GH6. And so this is my FreeShow Friday split screen scene, right? I got another one's called headshot and all that kind of stuff, and which is just a talking headshot of me here. Same GH, this is GH5 now, but if you right click on that and go to properties, it's just a USB capture card connected to it. Great question, Thomas. And then so my ATM, if I had multiple cameras, then an ATM would come in handy, right? I wouldn't want to plug in multiple capture cards, but I don't need to because I don't need multiple cameras. I mostly need to share my screen. And so sharing my screen, however, that's a good question. So my share screen is actually coming from OBS, and it's this here is the top screen is what I call it. So if you go to properties, it's just a display capture option in OBS that's capturing my screen. So that's my screen is not going through an ATM. It's actually going through, it's going through the OBS software. And all I did was, if you not right click, let's see, if you go to, let me make sure to update that, make sure you guys can see it. If I go to properties, so it's there, it's not a way I can recapture it. But ultimately, I hit the plus sign, and then I went to, where does it say? Screen capture, Mac OS screen capture. I guess if you got a Windows, it'll say Windows OS maybe. I click that, and then I just pick the screen I want, which is my secondary monitor from my laptop. Yep, great question. Yep, the infinite loop for the win. So hopefully that makes sense to give you some light. Let me know if you guys would like to see a behind the scenes of how I got my stuff set up. I can do that. I don't know if it matters for you guys because I know you all are mostly doing things in live environments. This is more like an office live streaming setup, but a lot of the factors carry over. I've got a soundboard right here that I use for my microphone. I got a camera, just like you would use in a ministry or a conference or an event or something like that. So the principles are the same, but I also have my iPad here with BitFocus, which I would use in a ministry setting as well. I got my laptop and my capture card. Yeah. So a lot of it carries over the same. I just never did a behind the scenes video just because I didn't know that it would really matter. So if you do want that, let me know in the comments. You can leave a comment and say, yeah, I would like to see a behind the scenes of your office setup, your dirty office. Show it to me, Gary, please. And I can do that. What other questions do you guys have? Yes, please show the setup. All right, Tony. You asking for it. You're asking for the dirty office. You're gonna get it. You're gonna see all these cords all over the place, which is pretty typical, right? So if you're on a media team or you're serving or you're doing anything with media, there's gonna be cords everywhere. So yeah, there's gonna be cords everywhere. And I'm not even gonna try to clean it up. I want you guys to see it as exactly how it is. So we'll do something like that one time. I'll figure out a reason to a time to do it. Probably hopefully next week we'll be able to get that done. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. Thanks again, you guys, and have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Have a blessed service. I can't wait to hear back from our friend from Thailand, meeting with 100 different media team leaders and things like that. Next time you do something like that, bring me out. I would love to come too. That's the kind of stuff I really enjoy helping out with. Let's see. Thank you for the insights. How would you use FreeShow alongside vMix? I use vMix for streaming. However, I need FreeShow to do stage screen setup, as well as lower thirds to live stream. So D, that's a great question. There's a brother, I think his name is Johnson Alacaton. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but he made a video about vMix. I know vMix, I think it only works on Windows, so I never used it. But he gave a tutorial on how to set it up. I can't vouch for it just because I've never used vMix, but there is a FreeShow with vMix video that is out there. And I'm trying to think about, I would consider vMix, I don't know. I've used like StreamYard and Restream and things like that. And I'm not completely clear on what vMix is. I think it's kind of like that, but I think it's when you download. And so you might also find some use in my video on how to use FreeShow with OBS, because I think he does mention NDI. I could be wrong, but you can look. I got a video on how to use FreeShow with OBS, which is a downloadable program on your computer that lets you live stream. That one should carry over similar features and factors of what you will see in vMix. I just can't speak to it because I've never used vMix. Okay. I've also done one on how to use FreeShow with Switcher. And I just don't know which way vMix goes in terms of, does it accept NDI? If you can answer that, feel free, and I'll be happy to kind of go from there. And if that's the case, then that OBS will probably be a good one to start with too. I'm located in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So if you guys need me to come out, let me know. I can send you a rate, and I can fly out. This is the biggest airport in the world, actually, in Atlanta. So that's a big deal. But I can also do road trip. My wife we like to road trip a little bit. Can't be over like 10 to 12 hours though. I don't know. That might be a little dangerous. So we'll see. So Tony, where you from? I don't know if you ever told us. And if you did, forgive me. I just don't remember. Let's see here. Where's Tony? Tony. Got the keynote. What is FreeShow? Oh, ATL. FreeShow. What? Oh, Tony, you said what is FreeShow? I never answered you, my friend. I'm sorry, my man. But yeah, I'm in the ATL area as well. So yeah, feel free. I love to check out the ministry and help you get set up and everything. But yeah, I'm probably right around the corner from you. Who knows? But yeah, welcome. With this being your first time. Oh, I am in Newnan. Where's Noonan? Is that in? I see ATL at the top, so I might have made that up. Is that in ATL? I'm new to here. I'm not been here for more than 6 months, 6 or 7 months, so I don't know what Noonan is. But if that's a area in ATL, yeah, I don't know where it is, but I can figure it out. I got Google Maps, so we can figure it out from there. But yeah, just send me an email. Go to my website, and you can chat with me on the website as well, and I'll be able to get back with you. We can have a private chat about it if you do need some assistance. And that's what anybody. I'm a media consultant, so this is what I do. Your setup cannot be messier than AJ, the CEO. I'm not going to tell him that you said that, but I can tell you that I can relate to AJ. I can relate because I've got an ATM right here. I got a video editor right here. I got a little fan right there in the stand. But yeah, AJ is the epitome of the media. I'm gonna call it the media mess that comes with all the cords and all the equipment, all that kind of stuff that comes with being in a media team or media function. And I can relate. I can definitely relate. So 30 minutes south of the airport. Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah. I'm about 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes north of the airport, something like that. I don't know, 20 minutes. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, I would love to catch up with you. That's hilarious, Thomas. What other questions or thoughts do you guys have? What other questions or thoughts do you guys have? This is great. I'm glad that there's some people that are new to FreeShow. I'm curious, Tony, what are you using right now instead of FreeShow, if anything? And then Thomas, let me go back and look at your comments. What are you using? Let's see. Are you using OBS? Thomas, are you using FreeShow? I see you said, okay. Yeah, so you said you use H2R with FreeShow, graphics with FreeShow, and used it through OBS as well. Okay. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, you guys. I got to go to get ready for another meeting, but God bless you all. Have a great rest of the weekend. Like I said, have a blessed time. If your services are this week,